Welcome everybody to 31 Days of Horror, and we're on our 18th day, and today we are looking at 1957's The Curse of Frankenstein. Now this clocks in at 83 minutes long. It's directed by Terence Fisher and stars Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. If you want to hear more about those three, then look at my review of the Hound of the Baskervilles. That's where I look at them in a bit more detail. But it also stars Hazel Court, who was in a couple of Vincent Price-led horror films, like The Mask of the Red Death and The Raven, and she was really rather good in both of those, as well as The Premature Burial and The Man Who Could Cheat Death, the latter of which was also directed by Terence Fisher. And it also stars Robert Urquhart, who I haven't seen in anything before, but he was in the original Dunkirk from 1958, which is supposed to be a really rather good war film. And the plot of this is about Baron Victor Frankenstein, who has discovered life's secret and unleashed a blood-curdling chain of events resulting from his creation, a cursed creature with a horrid face and a tendency to kill. So Christopher Lee plays the role of the creature, who was originally called the monster in the American versions of Frankenstein, but over here in Britain it's called the creature. And Peter Cushing plays Victor Frankenstein. And although this isn't quite as fun as Dracula, which was released a year later, this horror film by Hammer Film Productions is nonetheless a really solid start to their horror films being in colour career, as this was their first. And it really did set the template for them with really lush productions, one its really rather solid looking colour, cinematography. Peter Cushing is great in the lead role. It is solidly placed, doesn't unnecessarily retread previous film versions of the Frankenstein story, which means it isn't predictable while also having an engrossing plot. It is well shot, the supporting cast is decent, and it doesn't outstate its welcome. Just a shame though, really, that the production isn't stronger. Obviously, they were still trying to get their eye in with these kind of films, so the production will get better in later Hammer films, with the likes of Dracula and The Mummy, but still, it's still reasonable. It does, though, lack much in the way of thrills, and it could be a little bit more in the way of entertaining. But yeah, on the whole, still a really solid start to Hammer's, revitalization of these classic monster films, which would obviously then come with The Mummy, then Dracula, and The Curse of the Werewolf, and everything else like that, really. And if this hadn't been as successful as it was, or as well liked, then obviously those other films might well not have happened. So yeah, this does also have other films like it do have a great deal, but it's not the best of the bunch that Hammer did. I certainly prefer Dracula to this. I think The Curse of the Werewolf is probably a little bit more entertaining, but on the whole, really good. And one of the first of many collaborations between Cushing and Lee, who would also obviously collaborate with Terence Fisher quite a lot as well. So seminal film for Hammer, seminal film for British horror, and a real classic of the genre from the time, even if it isn't perfect. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.